Have you noticed when people have been married for a long time, they start looking like each other? Or maybe they just choose a partner that looks like them or suits them or mirrors them naturally? Look at Benedict Cumberbatch and his lovely wife, Sophie Hunter. They look alike, don't they? Or look at the gorgeous Jay Shetty and his beautiful wife. They can be like brother and sister. So maybe they just chose a person who looked like them. They mirrored what they wanted. They projected and mirrored. Or maybe after 10 years, this couple start looking like each other. What is happening here? Why do couples start looking like each other? What happens here? So, is the resemblance a sign of deep compatibility? What to speak of couples, even siblings who are living together for a long time, roommates, or even neighbors can start looking like each other. The idea is we become what we see. Welcome to Vedic Arts, where ancient wisdom meets modern application. Today we are talking about Vedic face reading. They say eyes are the windows of the soul, but actually your entire faces. I've been doing face reading since I was a child. My dad used to do face reading. He was a famous Vedic astrologer, and he never used a photo. He always actually would look at a person. In Ayurveda, we call looking at somebody and making an intuition deduction, almost like Sherlock Holmes. It's called darshana. When I became an Ayurvedic practitioner, we also learned other things. And I also learned a little bit about Chinese face reading, which is amazing. And then there's a book, a Vedic book. It's called Garuda Puran. And Garuda Puran, there's a lot of things about face reading. Also, in astrological books, in Vedic Jyotish books, they talk about people who have been influenced by different grahas, different planets, different stars at the time of the birth will have different faces. And as they are being influenced by different grahas and planets throughout their life, their face will change to reflect that. For example, if somebody is in their Mars period, they may have a more reddish complexion, they may have a more angry or more passionate look, and they may have more energetic face. Someone who is under a Saturn influence, their face may reflect, maybe the face has now become a little thinner, and they may have a more serious look to their face. That's just one example. So one thing that I've learned in Vedic face reading, it's very vast. Covering it in a podcast is kind of hard. It is an art of divination that you can't just learn in like 1 or 2 hours. It's a lifetime of study. I will try to give little nuggets of information the best I can. Let's start off with a common psychological phenomenon where our brain imposes a meaningful interpretation, meaning we see faces everywhere. Even newborn babies can see faces everywhere. We can see familiar objects, clouds, we see the moon, we talk about the man in the moon, random vague objects, and we somehow are programmed to see faces there, meaning we are naturally programmed by Mother Nature, by Mother Earth, to do face reading. It's in our blood. A newborn baby who comes out can read faces too. According to science, this art of seeing faces everywhere, which is also called pareidolia, it's a quick pattern recognition system working over time. According to them, humans evolved to rapidly detect faces and meaningful shapes for survival. For example, spotting friends from foes or predators. And I get that. For example, if there is something unclear like a cloud or a rock formation or shadow, so uh, it's a fill in the blank and turns it into something recognizable, of course. So our brains are wired for hyperactive facial recognition. It is automatic, it's subconscious. It is an evolutionary advantage according to them. However, there are other non-science focused explanations. What are the emotions and what's behind the face? What is the story of the person? Almost like Sherlock Holmes. He would see a person, oh, and tell the whole life story. When people have been married for a long time, they start looking like each other. Or maybe they just choose a partner that looks like them or suits them or mirrors them naturally. Benedict Cumberbatch and his lovely wife, Sophie Hunter. Or look at the gorgeous Jay Shetty and his beautiful wife. Couples start looking like each other. What is happening here? Why do couples start looking like each other? So, is the resemblance a sign of deep compatibility, or is it pareidolia? Our brains are filling the pattern. They're trying to find someone who looks like us would be a good, compatible person like us. And I'm not just talking about the color of the skin, I'm talking about similar features, maybe similar hairstyle, similar coloring, and so on. What happened? You see it all the time, the same crinkle around the eyes when they smile, or the matching tilt of the head, or matching color of the eyes, or the same facial features. It's almost magical. It's like the love literally shaped their facial contours. But what's really happening here? Is this pareidolia, our brain playing tricks and seeing patterns where they don't exist? Well, scientists call it empathic mimicry. The scientists call it empathic mimicry. The idea came from a famous 1987 study by psychologist Robert Zanhock. The idea came from a famous 1987 study. And there was this psychologist who looked at photos of couples taken on the wedding day. And again, after 25 years, and saw that they started looking like each other in 25 years. And it's true across. You see couples who start looking like each other, or maybe start dyeing their hair the same color, or wearing the same clothes, or maybe they're eating the same diet, or something is happening. So, also, our brain is wired to mimic micro movements of and facial expressions of a person who is talking to us. So, years and years of living together. So, we have the couples start, their micro expressions become the same. Is that what's happening? Oh, yeah, it may all be true. I agree. But what does Vedic face reading say? According to Vedic face reading, like, you've heard you are what you eat, you are what you see. We become what we see. For example, when a woman is pregnant, we ask the women not to watch horror TV or ugly things or dirty things. We want her to look at gorgeous, beautiful pictures of sweet, very, very cute babies. In India, they'll have them look at pictures of baby Krishna or babies with beautiful baby cheeks and so on. So the baby's face will become like the pictures that she is looking at. That's the idea. So whatever you're looking at, if somebody is watching always, somebody's always watching very horrifying things, or, somebody's always angry at them and showing them expressions of anger, their face will change. If somebody's spending time with the not so nice people, their face will change. If somebody's spending time with very loving people, their face will change. What to speak of couples, even siblings who are living together for a long time, or a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law living together for a long time, or mates, roommates, people sharing an apartment, or even neighbors can start looking like each other. The idea is we become what we see. If we spend long time with somebody, then we start becoming like those things. So it is suggested we have, pictures of beauty, and beauty which is beautiful to us. Let's start with the Chinese face reading. According to the Chinese, five elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And these will be reflected in a person's face, as well as the health and emotions by the colors, lines, markings. And even 100-year map divides the face into zones for different life periods. You know, for example, the top is your young youth, and the middle is your middle, and the bottom of the face is your old age. And there are five officers, meaning your eyebrows, your shape of eyebrows, shape of eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and then, of course, there are the three divisions. And the key system here are the shape of the face, the bone structure, which is called the mountain, the river or the qi shen features, meaning feminine features, wrinkles and lines when they're not natural are repressed emotions, and colors are meant for what some imbalance, for example, red may be heat or inflammation. Now let's move on. The Vedic face reading or the divination using just looking at a person's face is being written in a book called Samudrika. It's the Vedic art of face reading, Mukh Samudrika, Mukh Jyotish. That means knowledge of bodily features. The different features of not just the face, but also our head, our hands, fingers, length of our arms, all of that, facial features, proportions, marks, lines, molds, complexions are even being given in Bhrigu Samhita, Parashar Hora Shastra, and so many books like that. There is also the lines of the hand. It's called palmistry, and it's Hasta Samudrika. So all of them are part of Vedic astrology. So today we're just talking about the face. Now the face is considered important because it is seen as a visible reflection of the mind. For doing Vedic face reading, we need to look at what the Vedic texts say. So, of course, we believe in Vedic astrology, and you make a horoscope of a person, and a horoscope in Vedic astrology has 12 houses. The very first house, which is called the Lagna or ascendant Tanubhava, the first house is the physical appearance of a person, body structure, head, complexion, general facial vibe. This is the Lagna sign, and its lore determines the basic shape and character of the face. For example, if somebody has an Aries in the first house, which they have a very Mars face, what a Mars face would be sharp and angular features. And if they have a white complexion, they tend to get red easily. So the grahas or the planets are placed in the first house directly modify facial traits. For example, if Taurus is placed in the first house, a person will have a square face, broad face, strong jaw. Or if someone has Cancer or Pisces, which is a water sign, then they'll have a round, soft features, not sharp features. Then is the second house within Vedic astrology, within Jyotish, called Dhanabhava, is what governs the face itself, including detailed facial features such as the nose, mouth, lips, teeth. However, it inf- it it influenced the contour, symmetry, aesthetic quality of the face, and so on. And of course, the benefic planets, the moon and Venus, that are aspecting, meaning they are giving their full drishti, they're aspecting the second house, will give features, facial features, and also the voice. And how does this work together with the face reading? The first house gives the broad framework or overall look of a personality of the face. And think of the expressions of the face. Second house are the final details or the final details on the canvas. If someone has a strong sun in their horoscope, they'll have a broad, radiant forehead. They'll have a confident expression. Strong moon, round, soft, luminous face. Strong Venus, very attractive, charming smile, attractive to the opposite sex or the same sex. Harmonious proportions. Strong Jupiter, very studious looking, very wise looking person, prominent nose, forehead, wise person. Now, the Vedic face reading not just looks at the shape of the face or eyebrows and so on, but it also looks as where your mole is. Do you have a mole in what part of your face? Or on a neck? How are your lines, for example, and are they symmetrical lines? Are the lines on either side of the face different? What are the proportion on the left and right side of the face? Left side of the face indicates the feminine or the mother. The right side of the face indicates the masculine or the father. So if somebody has not a great relationship with the mother, the left side may be a little bit weaker, or they might have a very strong maternal figure in their life, then the left side would be a bit different. It'll be a very subtle difference, but there will be a difference. There's also a karmic and predictive layer. Features are seen as reflections of past life impressions, samskaras, and future potential rather than purely like a, Ayurvedic thing. So let's compare the Jing Chinese face reading with Vedic Muksamudrika. So the core focus of the Chinese face reading is long-term vitality, health reserves, and what's a person's constitution. Whereas the core focus of the Vedic face reading from Muksamudrika is planetary influences, karmic influences, destiny. It's to do with personality and destiny rather than health and vitality. And then what strong essence, a good essence looks like in Vedic face reading, in Vedic Muksa Mudrika, a broad forehead or long forehead, meaning ruled by Sun or Jupiter, strong jaw or teeth, sharp nose, sharp cheekbones, Mars, thick hair, a glowing complexion. So it's all about what particular planet is giving what influence. And of course, from Vedic perspective, these things will change. For example, if somebody's undergoing 18 years of Rahu, their face will change. You meet somebody after 10 years and their face is completely changed. Or even people who get married, their face also changes. And then, of course, the sign of depletions in Ayurvedic face reading. A person has dull complexion or there's asymmetry in the faces. Temporarily, the features look weak. They may not be weak, they look weak. And certain molds and lines have appeared that shows there's a planetary weakness or there's a past life karma, which is going to be a person will have to be dealing with that soon, or they're dealing with it right now. Past life karma is directly, for example, someone's undergoing some karmic thing, a mole might appear on their face or something like that. And so that's the Vedic. Whereas the Chinese say the sagging lower face or horizontal lines, they mean there's a weakened foundational energy. They're not looking at past life karma. Actually, they do look at past life karma in terms of ancestors, but not beyond that. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. I would love to hear. So Vedic astrology so Vedic face reading is part of Vedic astrology. So of course, the doshas, planets, karma are all together. Whereas the Jing, the Chinese face reading, is part of the Taoism, TCM, and it is related with Jing, Qi, and Shen, the three energies. So let's go back to seeing the man in the moon, seeing a face and everything. Actually, if you practice divination, if you're a student of divination like me, what is going to happen to a person in the future may also divination and what we call scrying, SCRYNG, scrying. Like people look in a crystal ball to look for visions. That visions can come anywhere. And one place the visions come are in a person's face. So you can be looking at a person's face and you suddenly see a spirit or an animal or something else on the face that's not there. That's a form of divination too. That's kind of divination that at least I and people that I've studied with are used to. So it's, for example, there is a rock uh, and it's called the Queen's Head Rock. Google it. Google the Queen's Head Rock. The rock looks like the head of a woman. So, people who practice divination, they may get signs on a person's face. They may get signs in a book. They may get sign in anywhere. They can even actually get signs from the moon itself. The moon is literally a powerful deity. It's ruled by a powerful deity. So you can get signs anywhere, but you should know whether it's a sign or not. You feel it in your heart, of course, or you can or you can come to me and I'll teach you how to know that. I haven't taught a lot of people, but I can try. So yeah, in the divination school, you got to do that. So basically, for scrying, they could be any reflective circuit surfaces. And also when I take the nadi, when I do the nadi for a person, another place that I tend to look at to read a person's face is you look at a person, have them close their eyes, then ask them to relax, and then I look directly at their third eye. And I open my own third eye and connect with their third eye, and the information just starts flowing in, and I start seeing different information on their face. That's my scribe. Just like people use a crystal ball, they use a crystal ball as a tool to train their third eye. Similarly, that can be trained as well. For example, on a you can see a face of an animal or another woman on a man's face. Maybe this is somebody they're in love with or someone who's a big influence on them. So you can see a face within a face, at least I can. Anyway, if you want to learn some Vedic face reading or would like me to do a Vedic face reading for you, you can contact me at learnayurveda.com. I hope you enjoyed this podcast.